So hey guys, and welcome back to another video. And on today's video we're on the Triumph Scrambler and we're on its last ride, so I'm here to give you my final views and final thoughts on this motorcycle and what I think about it. So I've had this bike for a few weeks now and I want to give you my open and honest opinion, what I think about it. Having ridden most of the Bonneville range, apart from the Speedmaster, which couldn't be delivered just before Christmas, so I've not managed to get onto that one yet, so that will be coming in the new year, and also the Bobber. But back onto the Street Scrambler. Now this bike, as you've already seen and probably know, is the 900cc high torque engine. This bike has certainly got one of the best parallel twin engines that I know on the market, and also, as you heard just then, the sound that this thing makes is absolutely beautiful. It really is one of the best sounding parallel twins on the market today. Now the only other one, I think it was the Street Twin Gold Line that I tested a while back, one of 1,000 motorcycles, that also sounded gorgeous. Same engine, different exhaust setup. Obviously this one with the high-sided exhausts, which, by the way, I've not noticed any heating problems or issues against my leg, but it is the middle of winter and it's only about 5 degrees today, so if you do live in a hot country then you might have an issue, but I believe if you do decat them it makes them a lot better. I also think if you were commuting or just using this for, you know, a weekend sort of bike, then the 900cc engine is perfect for that. And also commuting through town, the clutch is super light with the slip and assist clutch, just a real pleasure to ride around town too. I would say the only thing I would change on this bike would be the tyres. Now these are Metzeler Tourance tyres, kind of 50-50. I think any 50-50 tyre used on the road is a waste really, and not that great either on the road or off the road. So that would be my first thing, to change these to more of a street tyre rather than a 50-50, as most of these bikes are used on the street rather than off-road. They're not really an off-road bike. Even though they're called Scrambler, it's not something you'd want to take over 200 kilos off-road, and you just buy a smaller CC'd off-road motorcycle for that purpose. The bike itself has more than enough power. It's only got 5 gears, but that's all you really need. I've been up and down the motorway a few times up to the Lake District on this thing, and it really does eat the miles up. I do love its simplicity, just the single clock, 2 riding modes, rain and road. And to be honest, I've had it in rain most of the time, with it being winter and super cold. Roads have been wet. We've only had a few days where it's not been raining throughout Christmas, quite mild really. Okay, on to dislikes. Well, it's got the typical stalky mirrors, which some of the Bonnevilles come with. I do like that these are actually black coated and not the chrome. Much prefer black, but I'm not sure whether some Triumph accessory bar end mirrors would look nice on this or not. If you own one of the Street Scramblers and have bar end mirrors, let me know. Interested to hear your thoughts. So another negative, I suppose you could call it, but it's debatable really, is the lights on the bike. It's got a halogen bulbed headlight. It's non-LED. Indicators are non-LED, and I think it's only the tail light that's LED on this bike. Some of you might think, well, it should have LED headlight at least, but normally LED headlights tend to be a little bit white, and I think with an old classic like this, it's nice to have that halogen look and be a bit yellow. So I do like the lights, and I probably wouldn't change that. Now one thing it doesn't have, which is a negative, is a center stand. Obviously it just adds weight, so Triumph tend to not include those on the Bonneville range. For me it doesn't really bother me. I'd rather use a paddock stand anyway. The suspension on the bike has been really plush, nice and smooth, and it does make a difference for taller people like I am, being 6'2". I much prefer this over the Street Twin, although I do prefer the Street Twin exhaust pipes over the high level And I think the Street Twin is one of the most popular Bonneville's and highest sellers out of all of them. I think the proportions seem to be correct with the size of the tank, and just looks right. And I think also on the T100 they've got the looks perfect. So some people think the T120 is a little bit bulky, and I suppose it depends on the person really, but yeah, I like the T120 as well. Although I've said it before, I do like the 900 engine over the 1200cc engine. I think a moan would be not having cruise control. I think most modern bikes now are coming with cruise control. I don't think cost-wise it's a huge thing to add to a bike, but I think they should add cruise control standard. On this type of bike, you don't really need a quick shifter. The clutch action and the gear changes, it's one of the smoothest gearboxes that I've come across. Brakes, it's got 4-pot Brembos on the front and this thing on the back. The brakes are really adequate. It's just the tyres that let it down a little bit. Although saying that, they've not slipped at all on the road. There was just one incident the other day where I came out and it was probably about 2 degrees down towards freezing, and within the first couple of miles, just filtering and pootling through town, stop start, I did put the brakes on and the actual front tyre locked. The ABS didn't kick in, and it was just because the tyre was cold. So yeah, not a lover of the tyres. Now I wonder if Glass and Dock has repaired its lock at the end where the bridge goes across. I'll just have a pootle down here and see if it's open now. So one thing I did mention was the seat on the back. Now I'm not sure if the seat's an accessory, I think you get that as standard. But what I do think is under the seat, when you take the rear pillion seat off, is a nice little rack that you could put some something like, you know, some soft luggage, like Krieger or something like that on the back seat. So when I do get to pull up at Glass and Dock here, I'll take the seat off and show you that. I do know it has a USB charging port under the seat, which you can route a wire if you're running a sat-nav or a phone holder on the dashboard. Such a fun bike though, really is. It would make a fantastic entry-level motorcycle for somebody, or if you're a hardened biker and you have other bikes, it would make a superb second bike in the garage. So Glass and Dock, just down here, a few people fishing, and I think the lock and the bridge over the centre might be still closed actually. Not sure. Oh no, it's open. A few bikers down here at the moment. The burger van's open. Might get a brew there shortly. Plenty of spots to get some food and drink. So we'll just pull up and have a walk around and I'll show you that seat. So here's the bike. You can see there the upswept pipes at the side that I mentioned. Beautiful sound from those, and also those lovely spoke wheels. That's the only other negative as well. I think these have tubes in. They're not like the Scrambler XC or XE, which have the side spokes and tubeless. So that would be another benefit if they put the tubeless tyres and better spoked wheels on. So, seat off, and as you can see there, we've got a USB socket just here. The rear seat, actually there's an Allen key that you undo just at the back, just in there, and that takes the rear seat off. Sadly there's no rack on the back, but you can get an accessory rack that goes on there instead of that seat, which makes it nice for strapping, like I say, soft luggage on, or you can strap it on top of the seat. Now, like I mentioned, the headlight is a halogen headlight, as you can see just there, nice and yellow, which I think is a plus really on these old style bikes. Clutch lever is adjustable for span, and also the brake lever is. Just an all-round really lovely motorcycle. A little bit dirty today. Need to take it for a wash before trying to pick it back up. But yeah, I believe the catalytic converter is somewhere in here, and if you decat it, I believe it doesn't create as much heat I wish they'd have put a metal skid pan on the bottom. The plastic one there, I don't think it's up for any off-road trails, but perfectly alright for the road, which is where this bike will spend most of its time. The grey tank, not a lover of like primer colours, but I think this bike, if you were to get it in the jet black, or one of my favourites, and I'll pop a picture of it just here, is the new Gold line, which comes in a pastel matte blue, and it is awesome. Seen it in the flesh, it's beautiful. So yeah, if I was to get one of these, it would be the new Gold line, and that's available actually for 1 year only in 2022. So if you're interested in one of these, take a look at that one. It's really nice looking bike. Like I say, I love the simplicity of the clocks. Just a simple clock just there, all you need really. And even the back end's not too bad, doesn't really need a tail tidy at all. The engine itself, just easy access really. Spark plugs, you know, change your engine oil filter on your own. Everything's so accessible. You've got the radiator there at the front, all dirty at the moment. Okay, so let's hop back on this machine. Okay, so to summarise, the Street Scrambler really is a versatile machine. It's got a lovely engine, brakes are great, tyres I would change. Things like mirrors really are just something cosmetic that you can change very easily. The bike itself, like I say, it looks absolutely stunning. It's a real showpiece. You can just sit at the cafe and look at it and think, wow, it's a beautiful machine. Sounds awesome. The wheels, like I say, look like they're tubed, and I would prefer tubeless wheels. And the front's 19 inch, the rear 17. They could put the same wheels that are on the Scrambler XE. Not sure whether that would add cost. It would certainly lighten it up, because these are steel wheels and I think the other ones are forged, so a little bit lighter. But definitely I would prefer it with tube tyres. Easier for puncture repairs and things like that. Now, one of the things that I didn't do was show the ergonomics with myself being sat on the bike. I'm 6'2", 95 kilos. Need to lose some of that weight, but that's me sat on the bike. Upright, knees not bent, not stretched, plenty of room. Reach to the bars is nice. I'll give you a sound check so you can hear the bike stood still. Plenty of room for a pillion passenger on the back, and like I say, you can take this seat off and put some luggage on here and get a nice rack for it, or just leave the seat on and put it on top. So I think the other thing that I've noticed, especially on my right foot, is it's getting splashed an awful lot with the crap off the roads being flung up from the tyre, and also the radiator. So I would get a radiator guard and potentially a fender extender, which you can buy from any aftermarket place that sells them for these, and that would stop some of the crap being flung up. So that about covers the Triumph Street Scrambler. Hope you've enjoyed the videos on this bike. I've certainly enjoyed riding it an awful lot. I look forward to riding some more Triumphs in 2022, so thank you again to Triumph for the loan of this bike. And if you're new to the channel, then don't forget to hit that subscribe button, ding that bell for future videos coming up, and also if you're a current subscriber, thanks again for the support through 2021, and I'll catch you all on another video soon, guys. Take care. Cheers.